Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Flex Network. I'm your host, as always, Flex Shane. Follow me on Twitter at the Flex Network 1. The illustrious, the devious Alan Seslowski at Alan Seslowski, aka you guys know him, Season Long Says. How are you, brother?
What's up, man? This is going to be an interesting podcast. We are going to break down the startup draft I did last month. Really poke holes in some of these teams. And if these guys are watching, man, which they're going to be,
Yes.
Shane put on his leprechaun hat. He's feeling a little St. Patty-ish, and this is evil Shane. This is usually you're not such a nice guy, and you're in a grumpy mood when you have that hat on. So these guys better beware and know what's coming at them.
Look, I mean, anybody who knows anything about leprechauns, they're devious little mofos. So we're sticking with it. And listen, people, before you tell me St. Patty's Day was 2 days ago, I get it. But I was stuck in my house 2 days ago, and I'm still stuck in my house. So
there's Mike Goff.
Freedom. Mike Goff, how you doing, brother?
He just signed on right now. All right, so
let's go.
Let's get this thing started. We'll go. Let's go reverse order. We'll start with the commissioner, and this is how we'll do it, Shane. You'll tell me what you think you'll click on his draft, right? Now, people traded some picks, so you have to keep that in mind. Yep. You'll tell me their best pick, what you think their worst pick was, all right? Okay. If there was one. And then what you'll do is you will give their team a grade or say what you feel like their team has of long-term sustainability. So you don't have to say A, B, C. You can do that, but say, hey, this is a team, that might make the playoffs or that's going to, some things like that. So best pick, worst pick, and then like a team thought for each one. Okay.
So sorry. So some context. When did you guys draft this? You said last month?
Oh, yeah. This is about a month ago. It was
okay. So this is well before any of the information with free agency and all that fun stuff. So people are gambling a little bit here.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's good. It's good to have a little bit of context.
And there was no rookies in this draft. So basically, we were able to choose our draft order based on a lottery, and then the draft order is going to be the rookie draft is going to be the reversed order of the draft order here. Okay. So if you picked pick 11. You would get rookie pick 2. So that was part of the strategy as well.
And this is super flex, correct?
Super flex, tight end premium, all the goodies.
Yes, you guys know how to play it. Fantastic. Okay, so we're going to start with the commish himself, TJ Barfield, who picked out of the 10 slot. The 12 slot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so right off the bat, it looks like he traded this 12th round pick, first round pick, the 112. It looks like it's kind of hard to really figure out what he got, but it looks like he got one of the 7th round picks.
Yeah, you know what? Let's cut to brass tacks here. His team is horrible. Listen, I'm only kidding. What do you think based on that? Because you're able to click on there. What do you think his best pick was?
I think Chubb was a nice pick. I mean, the fact that Chubb kind of fell, it looks like the tight ends went early, so I love that. Amari Cooper going at 4.6, I think, is a pretty good steal. Yeah, I love Dak Prescott, but he got him at value right around the mid-3rd round. One guy that I was always high on for the last couple of weeks, you've always been like, Shane, be careful, Jameis Winston. He went at 5.12. Would have been good value a week ago. We know that kind of fell off the face of the earth, unfortunately.
Well, it's not over yet because okay. So, and that's what I'm saying. His best pick for sure, Cooper in the middle of the 4th round, getting that great value on him. And also, if you look a little bit down the board,
Henderson.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to work out as well too. So Henderson,
luck of the Irish. Here we go.
Yeah, and for sure, I think the toughest pick here was he drafted a couple of QBs, and then Jameis Winston. Again, it's a lot of risk. I was telling you, I don't think he will be a starter this year. There is a chance he could still Patriots or and the Chargers. So those are two possibilities.
His best chance to start, in my opinion, was Chicago. But the fact that they got Nick Foles, which he actually coincidentally also has. But the fact that Nick Foles went there, to me, that was Jameis's best bet to actually go and start games.
Yeah, I want to see. So give his draft a grade because we got 12 of these to do.
Oh God,
and we're gonna try to. Yeah, it's gonna be a long stretch.
I'm gonna give it about a B. In terms of depth, I'm a little bit worried. I mean, Chris Carson, Devonta Freeman, a little bit worried there. I'm not an Amari Cooper guy because he's too inconsistent. So John Brown now is second fiddle. I'm going to give it a B.
Yeah, I'm a little more bullish on his draft. I think he did a good job because he also accumulated 3 first-round picks. Keep that in
Oh,
mind.
fantastic.
So, yeah, if you scroll down. So with those 3 firsts, obviously one of them is going to be Joe Burrow. So he'll still have some QB depth. I'm going to I liked what he did during the draft. I'm going to give him an A-, just giving myself some room to breathe. But I understand what you're saying. The roster itself depends on these draft picks. I think he could be immediate playoff team, and he built the team to last. I think TJ did a good job.
If he's got the 101, I guess the last thing here, if he's got the 101 and he can either go with, in my opinion, Jonathan Taylor or Joe Burrow, that immediately, I think he should go here. He should go Taylor. He will have an immediate boost to his running back core, and then it's completely different.
Yeah, I mean, what if Taylor goes to Miami and he's in a first-year committee with Jordan Howard? I guess you're not too worried about that. But like I said, good job, Barfield, the commish. You set the league straight, and he's doing a great job with the actual league commissioning it. All right, let's move on to Renawi.
Do you want to talk about Snowman real quick, or we'll get to his question after? We'll get to your question at the end, Snow.
Well, what was the question?
He said, Flex Shame, what are you doing now that the GOAT is a Buccaneer?
Okay, well, yeah, we'll have to. We'll get to all questions.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say really quick. If you guys have watched season 2 of True Detective, that scene where Colin Farrell goes to his room or to his home, and he's basically just getting after it. I think it's like episode 1 or 2. That is me. Okay,
yeah,
we're gonna move on. Renawi.
Yep. Okay,
Man,
so I'm gonna. He did a great job. Dalvin Cook could be a top 5 startup draft asset, no problem. Chris Godwin, people are down on the Buccaneers receivers, higher on Tom Brady. I still think Chris Godwin is like a supercharged Julian Edelman, so he'll be good there. For me, the best pick of the draft for him, if I'm looking for some depth, believe it or not, in a go for it this type of year, and it's an ugly pick, but it's going to end up be David Johnson. What? David Johnson's a good pick.
11,
he got
11, yeah, wow.
Yeah, got him close to the 12th round. And look, we all thought Carlos Hyde was dead in the water. Now, we may not like David Johnson, the player, but for fantasy, I think for at least this year, maybe next year, he is going to be a good pick. For me, his worst pick is going to end up being Austin Hooper in the 3rd round. I do not like the landing spot for Austin Hooper, even though Stefanski, the coach from that's now in Cleveland, is going to probably run a lot of 2 tight end sets. There's just too many mouths to feed there, and I thought that's a little rich for Austin Hooper, who I've knocked way down my rankings. He did have some other good tight ends like Gesicki, Irv Smith. So that is my take. The other good pick that he had, and then I'll turn it over to you, Shane, is Renawi traded it back into the middle of the 6th round, landed Calvin Ridley, who's probably a top 12, top 14 dynasty receiver at this point. So I think Renawi did a good job overall. Again, he falls right around that B+ margin just because there's some depth issues, but I don't really see a weakness in this team. I probably could be proved wrong. What do you?
I really like it. To your point, Austin Hooper, his value's probably dropped. You know what I love? I love the Gerald Everett pick at 13.11. You look at Tyler Higbee went in round 8. Gerald Everett went around 13. Guys, I get that Higbee was hyper efficient and he scored and he blew up at the end of the year. But before that, Gerald Everett was having a hell of a season before he got injured. Todd Gurley is gone now. In the 13th round, you can do a hell of a lot worse. So I love that. Evan Silva, who everybody knows, is super high on Calvin Ridley this year. And, he's a pretty smart man. So wheels up, baby. I like it. And Chris Godwin, Cortland Sutton, as your cornerstones, I love it.
Yeah, he did a really good job. I think in this draft, a lot of that value fell towards the back end of the draft. Picking first, when we'll get to my draft, towards the end of this thing. But I did not love how the draft fell to me when you start with a quarterback. But how do you not start with Mahomes, right?
Okay, absolutely.
All right, cool. So draft grade for him. You see him.
I like it. I like A-. I'm going to go with.
Right.
Okay. The only thing that he's really weak at is quarterback. It looks like.
He's got Matt Ryan, Darnold, and then Trubisky, who may not even be in the league anymore, right?
Yeah, so it's a little weak there, but depending if he's picking early in the rookie draft, if he still has his 1.2, Burrow might fall to him.
Yeah, well, no, Burrow's not going to fall to him. He's going to go first in all likelihood, but he does have his 1st-round pick. He could get Justin Herbert or Tua, no problem. Yeah, so that solves that. T. Lou, T.
Okay.
Lou. Okay. So interesting first pick overall. Do you like taking Travis Kelce in the first round of a dynasty startup, even in a tight end premium? I have a major problem with that.
I won't. Listen, he's 30 years old. He's had injuries. He's had concussions. I like Travis Kelce. I mean, he's still the number one tight end right now, without a doubt. But for how many years? People, I think, sometimes get into a trap of, well, I'm planning 5 years out on my dynasty team. Don't do that. That's not what I'm talking about. But to take him as your first overall pick when guys like DeAndre Hopkins, like Dalvin Cook, like Nick Chubb, like Chris Godwin were still available, I personally would not have done it. It's not like you can't say, oh my God, you chose Travis Kelce and it's just like a disaster.
Well, here's how I compare it, Shane. Like, we love Travis Kelce in redraft. He's probably our first tight end off the board. He would go, maybe even right around here a little bit later in redraft. But it's like taking Julio Jones in a startup in the first round. Like, we love the player, but if this league seems like it has some legs, it could last, I'd be a little nervous there. Now, in round 2, he kind of made up for it. So Kyler Murray is going in the top 8 picks of dynasty startups right now. He got him in the second round, pre-DeAndre Hopkins trade. So, you know what? The value balance is out there. You take some good, you take some bad. And and you look right down his roster here. Again, the wide, it just shows, because in the 4th, 5th, and 6th round, listen to this wide receiver combination that T. Lou was able to accumulate. Stephon Diggs, DK Metcalf, and Hollywood Brown. Just goes to show you in these startup drafts, you don't need to force wide receiver. Have you noticed that in your best ball drafts as well, Shane?
100%. I'm going hard on receivers late. Like, I'm talking like 4, 5, 6 is when I'm like considering wide receiver at that point.
Yep.
I'm looking at his team right now. Did he make a trade for Odell?
Yeah.
At some point? Okay.
Yeah, let me see, because I think that does he have Odell? Oh yeah, okay. So that same trade was offered to me, and I turned it down foolishly. What he did was he made a trade for Odell, and I think it was at a cost. I forget the exact cost, but it was a very reasonable ask, and I foolishly turned it down at one point. So yeah, no, that really bolsters his team, and he does have all his picks intact for 2020, including an extra third. So
not bad.
Yeah. So what's the best pick for this team, do you think?
Honestly, probably DK or Kyler. Even at 2.3, I think Kyler's a pretty good value. Unfortunately, he didn't gain a lot of value in some guys. Like Melvin Gordon, unfortunately, is continuing. His value is dropping. Stephon Diggs,
we don't even know where he is yet, though. We don't.
You're right, but there's that risk factor, right? Stephon Diggs, I think at best he's a push, but there still is John Brown in Buffalo, so there's potentially that. I'm not a big Marquise Brown guy. I mean, when it comes to my wide receivers, even like my wide receiver 3, I like a little bit more consistency. Like Marquise can put up 30, but he can also put up 2. David Njoku, his value kind of dropped. Later on in the draft, I like James Washington in pick 14. Why not, right? In round 14, excuse me.
So what I would say with T. Lou is his team is built to win this year. With Travis Kelce, with Melvin Gordon, and even Sony Michel, who I love is a value running back in the 10th round. I think that we have a good chance for at least solid running back 2 value for Sony Michel in this season. Again, he has his picks intact, and he's going to have a good pick. He'll be able to get one of those great running backs or one of the elite wide receivers of choice. So right now, I think he's got to win now. And again, he's got some prospects with DK and Marquise Brown. So it's a well-balanced team. Not as good as the first 2 teams we saw, but I still think that he could be he's probably a lock for the playoffs. I would give him a rock-solid B+ with some upside. And then, if any of his fragile veterans get hurt, obviously David Njoku's value took a hit. That could be a problem. So moving on.
All right.
We're gonna move over to Rent Free, who did a really interesting he had an interesting strategy in the first round. What he did was, not only did he maintain his pick with the first overall pick, he took Alvin Kamara at 1-9. Sorry, not his first overall, but he moved up in the draft 1 spot and also accumulated George Kittle. So he went Kittle and Kamara back to back. Rounded it out with Adams, and then Josh Allen, who I have as my number 3 overall QB. I have him ahead of Kyler for fantasy. He got him in the 4th round, which was a steal. So he did a really good job solidifying his core at the top. His depth he did a great job too. Allen Robinson, who I still think is the most underpriced wide receiver in fantasy, got him in the 6th round. He took the old guy, Le'Veon Bell, Robert Woods, and Mark Ingram. This team is built to be a winner this year. The more I look at these guys' drafts, Shane, the more I think like, oh my God, I don't have a wing and a prayer in this league.
I really like this team. I personally probably would not have taken Kittle, but I obviously understand why he would have. I mean, Kittle is still very young. He is 26 years old only, which is, there you go, 4 years younger than Travis Kelce. That's a big deal. I really like his team. Alvin Kamara, let's hope he's got a bit of a bounce back. Mark Ingram, I mean, you could argue that he was probably overproductive last year versus what he should have been. Let's see here. Stephen Lou seems the smartest.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then also Dan Haggerty said that he got James Washington and David Montgomery for OBJ. Yeah. I mean, okay. I would rather have OBJ, but I could be proven wrong. Montgomery sputtered a little bit last year, but I think we're with an upgrade at QB to Nick Foles. They are certainly going to be he'll stabilize the offense. Okay. They're coming in fast first now. Two. Yeah. Is it 2 PPR for tight end in this league? There's Tom.
2?
If it is, then I'm in deep shit,
man. It's not 1.5. Oh, mama. That's a big difference. That's a huge difference.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Shane. Give me your top 5 for Dynasty and tight end. Like, rank them 1 through 5 for me, how you would have the tight ends.
Oh, God, you put me on the spot here. So I would probably go Kittle, Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, Darren Waller's in the conversation.
Wait, now Darren Waller was in the conversation, but they still have Foster Moreau, and then they just signed Jason Witten. Please,
come on, get out of here with Jason Witten. He's there as like a locker room presence. He's not going to take away snaps from Darren Waller.
Let me ask you a question. Where did Jason Witten fall in the tight end rankings in 2019? No, you don't. I know the answer.
Points?
No, just where was he ranked? Final Fantasy points. Where was he ranked?
Oh, probably 10, 11,
you got
12.
You hit it on the head. 10. So what I'm saying is it's something.
Yeah.
So
okay. That's a good point.
Yeah. So Kittle 1, Mark Andrews 2 for me for sure. I have Evan Ingram at 3, but I'm not going to argue with you if you put Travis Kelce there. It's just the age thing. Kelce at 4 and Waller or Hunter Henry at 5, 6. So yeah, we're in agreement there. Back to the draft board. Renfree, I mean, like I said, he scooped up talent after talent. He does not have his core is locked in. Now, as far as the running his second QB, he just picked up a whole smattering of them. He has Drew Lock. Ben Roethlisberger, Derek Carr, and Teddy. That Teddy is going to prove to be a value. I mean, in fantasy, to get Teddy Bridgewater that late for your QB2, it's really going to lock you in. I think he's got a great team right here. Again, these are a really smart draft room, what I noticed. And, man, there was no value.
You got Caden Smith in the 17th round, New York Giants tight end. That's another reason why I'm a little bit worried about Evan Ingram. Caden Smith was good last year. I like him a lot.
Yep. No, absolutely. But Evan Ingram, it's a kind of a do or die year for him. And I would understand, he's been often injured and that's a problem. But as you know, the tight end in a premium league, there's no better he's one of the best pass catching tight ends in the NFL when healthy. And I really like Daniel Jones to throw him the football. So we should be good over there. Good job over here. Again,
I like it a lot.
This team, I mean, it's like you want to try to vary the grades a little, but Renfree did such a good job. I would have a problem anything less than a rock solid A for him, man. I mean, he traded up, he managed his assets well. Good job. All right,
very good.
J Moss. J Moss traded away his first round pick, but he did pick up value in other places. The core of his team is Joe Mixon and Austin Eckler at the running back position. Now, Austin Eckler, as most who have listened to our podcast, they know that Shane and I are all in on Austin Eckler. We have been as a first round redraft and best ball pick. Everyone else thinks we're crazy. The chickens are starting to come home to roost a little bit. Austin Eckler in the middle of the 4th round is just tremendous value. He's a locked-in RB1. But even by trading away his first-round pick, he was able to get 2 RB1s. As far as the wide receivers, where he's going to have some depth issues, but I'm starting to warm up to Mecole Hardman. So Shane, just take a look at this thing. Give me his best pick, his worst pick, and then what's his draft grade from you? That's for J Moss.
Okay, I love AJ Brown. At the end of the 3rd round, I'm actually shocked he fell that far. He's more like one of the sexy players right now. So I'm impressed with that pick. Tyler Boyd in the 7th round. I think Marlon Mack in the mid-7th round is probably one of his best value picks. I mean, this is a guy who's going to be a starter. I think the fact that he's got Phillip Rivers now is it's better for him.
Hey, could you put the draft board up on the screen so people don't have to look at our ugly faces? They could look at the draft board.
Sure, I'm kind of flipping back and forth between the teams and stuff, but as long as you're cool with that.
No problem. No problem. And Birch Please said Ingram is donezo. I would definitely Shane, close the porn before you put up the. I disagree with that, but I certainly understand the sentiment. So we have up on the screen right now the draft board, and as you could see, like we're looking at Jay Moss's team in this Dynasty 12-team startup. I'm a little jealous of I don't. All these guys did such a good job. This was a tough room, Shane. When I was drafting here, like I felt like the guys that I wanted were just kept getting grabbed. So, best pick. If you had to pick one player, who's his best pick of the draft based on the price?
Based on price. Look, I'm going to get a little dirty here. I'm going to say a guy like McCole Hardman in the 10th round.
Yeah,
I think that's a fantastic pick.
I'm going to agree with you there. McCole Hardman is just, I think he's ready. Towards the end of the year, though, it was scary. He wasn't getting many targets. He was more of a special teams player, but that is got to be set to change. Now, let me ask you, there's been some crazy talk of Dion Lewis signing in Tampa Bay to join Tom Brady there. Is Dion Lewis, is he just dust at this point? Done. Or... Okay. All right. So one of my deep sleepers is Dare Ungabugawale. He was drafted in this draft by D. Heggs. We're going to talk about him next. But, could he easily be the James White in Tom Brady's offense?
Of course he could. I mean, that's what Tom Brady likes. He wants somebody he can trust. I think it's going to be very important that everybody comes in and has a good spring training camp. That's going to be super important in terms of developing rapport. I wouldn't be surprised if Tom's already calling up a lot of his receivers and potentially even some of these running backs and getting some private sessions with them to get just that communication down, that trust down. Like, trust is so important with Tom Brady more than anything else. Like, we've seen talented players go into the Patriots and not be successful because they didn't have that level of trust. So if Dare can develop that, watch out, guys.
Yeah,
watch out.
So Jay Moss did a good job. Also accumulated an extra first-round pick. I want to bash these teams. I really do. But these guys, the bashing is going to come. Obviously, I'm a little nervous because I'm looking like I might have one of the weakest squads in the whole draft here. But Jay Moss, you're gonna get a solid B+ from me. And again, that's all relative to the room. You have nothing wrong with your squad. I wouldn't be surprised if you made a deep run into the playoffs. Ian Thomas, people have a lot of high aspirations for him, and getting Gardner Minshew late, also now a starter in Jacksonville. What a good job! All right, D. Heggs. D. Heggs.
Oh my.
Yeah, I mean, this draft is going to be interesting to break down because his first two picks, which he had at 1.7, and then he traded up to get the last pick of the first round, were guys that were on top of everybody's boards and now have lost some value, at least perceived value. Deshaun Watson, he went for in a 2 QB league at 1.7, was probably one of the greatest picks that you can make in the first round. And now probably more of a late second round pick in Superflex because of the loss of DeAndre Hopkins. Shane,
he also drafted. That hurts, brother.
It's got to hurt, right? It's got to hurt, D. Heggs. It's got to be bad. You got to be feeling that pain. Good. Let's roll into him a little bit.
Al knows that I'm a Patriots fan, but my favorite non-Patriot player is DeAndre Hopkins. He's a guy that he oozes class. He's fun to watch. Just a great player. Great for Arizona. Al. Okay, this is kind of off topic, but it's relevant to this draft pick. When a guy like DeAndre Hopkins goes from a team where he's got developed chemistry with a guy like Deshaun Watson, who's proven that he can play well in the league, and then he goes to another young quarterback, Kyler Murray, who, look, he's going to be great in this league. I'm pretty confident about that. Is it just going to be a push in terms of production, or do you think there's going to be a potential drop-off?
There's going to be a drop-off in year one. Now, here's the good. The good is it's presumably a better offense. We don't know if it's a better QB. If anything, the QB is a push, but there's going to be more pass attempts, but they spread the production around a little bit. And especially with Larry Fitzgerald, we think Larry Fitzgerald that stayed on the team to be a 35 target guy. Larry Fitzgerald is still going to get 80 targets, right? They're going to presumably, I mean, listen, DeAndre Hopkins, he's still going to get himself 125, 135 targets. Just the days of 180 targets, those are over. Okay. Yeah. Now, DeAndre Hopkins will still probably be wide receiver 6 or 7 on my board.
Yeah.
But when you took him at the end of the first round in Dynasty, you were hoping that he would continue to be that dominant top 3 receiver. But again, you're not losing much, and the upside is still there to prove us wrong. So absolutely. I still don't think it is a killer pick whatsoever. Russell Wilson is an interesting player in the second round. The people are very, I mean, listen, he's a Mount Rushmore QB in NFL history, meaning I think he's one of the best 4 or 5 QBs ever to play the game. But for fantasy, he's a little uneven. Super flex, that's where he's going to go. So it's hard to argue with taking him there. The trade for Odell Beckham, that's just unbelievable, getting him there. Odell is certainly being undervalued. I still think the best pick by D. Heggs in this draft, as I look down the board, excuse me, is, again, now this is not going to be someone that's a superstar, but I really like Nyheim Hines.
Yep. Where you're going.
In the 16th round, we saw what Phillip Rivers has done for Danny Woodhead, did for Darren Sproles. We saw what he did last year for Austin Eckler. I don't think that, I mean, the under-over for catches for Nyheim Hines, you got to set around 65 catches. So I think.
And everybody's talking about, just sorry to go off a little bit topic here, but everybody's talking about how good O.J. Howard, or potentially how good O.J. Howard could become. But Cameron Brate in the 23rd round, like, that's going to be good. Tom Brady's going to use Cameron Brate because Cameron Brate's a guy that you can trust. So I think that's a fantastic pick. I like Ronald Jones in the 11th round. Then he followed up with Dare and round 25. Like, that's fantastic. Yeah, I like this draft. It's really good.
Yep. D. Heggs, I think you did a terrible job. You're shit out of luck from your 2 first-round picks that lost value instantly. But I love you, brother. So I'm still going to give you a B. But I think there's a solid floor here. But I'm not sure you're going to make the playoffs this year. You better draft well. Now, looking down some of the comments before we move on to the second half. Sure. That's cool. Thank you, Jonah. Jonah Whale says, cool sleeper work, guys. Nice visual. Thank you. Mike Goff says, I definitely regret drafting Ertz instead of Andrews. Yes, you should. Definitely. That was a terrible pick. But you know,
terrible.
Oh, horrible. Taking Ertz over Andrews. Ertz himself is fine, but how do you not go with Mandrews, baby? Mandrews. Okay. You can bash that Justice Hill reach. Yes, that was a terrible reach. You took him before Mark Ingram was even off the board. I remember you making fun of you the day of the draft. Make me eat my words. Justice Hill. I know that Shane is a Justice Hill believer.
I traded him away last year in one of my leagues.
Yep. Oh, and Birch also said his top 5 are Kittle, Kelsey, Andrews, Ertz, Henry. I like that. No Ingram in there, so I don't like it, actually. But good job. I understand everyone has their preference. All right, let's move on, Shane.
Yep.
We are in Balls Deep what's it say? Fantasy?
Balls Deep Fantasy. Yeah.
Yes. All right. I mean, listen, there's no judgments here. Michael Thomas at 1.6. I mean, that's where he goes in Dynasty Superflex Startup, right? I mean,
yeah, absolutely. We were having this conversation. Was it literally yesterday?
Yesterday.
Yeah, I think I'm absolutely okay with that. Michael Thomas at 1.6.
I took him in a Dynasty Superflex Startup at 1.5. Zeke and him. It just depends how you want to construct your team. Balls Deep came back with Derrick Henry. How do you argue that in the second round? In PPR, I know there's some haters out there that don't like Derrick Henry as a PPR back, but in the middle of the second round, you're going to get 3 years out of him, 2-3 years. They just signed with the franchise tag, so you know it's at least going to be for this year, and then it'll be some extra goodies. Now, Mike Evans at the end of the third round, I don't care if it's Tom Brady thrown to him or whatever. He is still, I mean, he's a first-round Dynasty startup last year, and all of a sudden now he's at the end of the third round. That has got to be his best pick. And then I was a little jealous when Balls Deep went up and grabbed Daniel Jones with that pick, because that's a guy I've had my eye on. I think those are his 2 best picks. As far as lack of value picks, I'm not a big Brandon Cooks guy. Maybe he'll go to another team. He got him, but it's all the way in the 11th round. How do you argue with that? And then actually another great pick of balls deep was Will Fuller in the 12th round, who's now the #1 receiver over in Houston.
Yes.
Not a lot wrong with this team. Not a lot of sizzle, but he's got a lot of good, solid foundation guys. Grade this team for me, Shane.
He seemed to have traded away a lot of his picks.
Yeah. So if I look at balls deep,
what does his draft picks look like?
His draft capital remaining is, yes, he doesn't have any first rounders. He has he has 2 seconds and a third and a fourth.
I don't love that.
But he does have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh no, 6 first rounders in 21. He's going to own the whole draft.
6 first rounders in 21?
Yes.
Oh wow, okay.
Hopefully,
all right. Yeah. So a lot of people were looking forward to the 2020 class. I'm not really super in Devy quite yet, but I do listen to a couple of Devy podcasts, and word on the street is that 2021 is going to look pretty similar, or could look very similar, at least in the first round, to the quality of players that we have here in 2020. So accumulating those picks now is fantastic, because this is the cheapest time to buy them, right? Because people want 2020, they want now.
Well, let me ask you something about the 2021 second rounders. And if you're in the chat and you're listening, you can answer this one too. I was offered in another league, Dynasty League, because Hayden Hurst obviously became a popular draft target. Yep. He was traded to the Atlanta Falcons. Someone offered me their 2021 second for Hayden Hurst. They also wanted to throw in Drew Sample, who is just that, a throw in. What would you rather have, Hayden Hurst or an unnamed 2021 second round pick?
Oh man, is his team okay, decent, bad, good?
Who the hell knows? It's a startup.
Oh, so you have no idea. Okay, so let's assume it's a mid-second round pick.
Yeah.
To be honest, if that's right around where you're going to be probably drafting a lot of these potential tight ends, there's still going to be a lot of question marks. I would probably keep Hayden Hurst, because we know with tight ends it takes a couple of years to develop in the league. He's now on a team that we know likes to use the tight end in Atlanta. So I would probably keep Hayden Hurst.
Right, because with pick 2.5, 2.4, 2.7, you're hoping the guy gets an opportunity like who? Like Hayden Hurst. I already have him in hand. I agree with that. The pot wasn't sweet enough. I think it was somebody in this league, actually. So I am glad I hit decline on that one. Yeah. All right, balls deep, Fana. We're going to give him a low B, high C, basically a C+, but the future is bright with those 2021 picks, and nothing wrong with Michael Thomas, nothing wrong with Derrick Henry, nothing wrong with Mike Evans.
Just relative to the other teams so far.
Relative to the other teams, again, I still think this is better than my team, but 2021, look out. I'm sure he'll screw up the picks.
Mike Goff agrees, Hurst. Absolutely.
Steve in the Lou, quite a character in the league. We love him. Happy's in there. As you click on his draft, just a monster squad. Zeke Elliott, Aaron Jones. Oh, man, when I picked on the turn, I passed on Miles Sanders. I took Miles Sanders and passed on Aaron Jones. Start with that comparison. Who would you rather have in Dynasty? Would you rather have Miles Sanders, 22 years old, in the Eagles, or would you rather have 25 years old Aaron Jones?
Miles Sanders for sure.
Okay, good. Sanders, so I'm glad I did the right thing. Tyreek in the second round, super flex. That is just an unbelievable pick. Now, when you talk about quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers, even for experienced dynasty players, Aaron Rodgers still has a more powerful name than he does production. I mean,
how old is he now?
I mean,
he's 36. Okay, so he's getting up there, but he's probably got 3 or 4 years of high-level play left.
But the high-level play wasn't there last year. I mean, there was a lot of like 10s and 14 fantasy point production days from him. I am scared shitless of Aaron Rodgers in fantasy. I know it's the 4th round, end of the 4th round in a super flex. Great value, but again, I would have rather waited for Tannehill, certainly for Daniel Jones. He was available in the next round, and even Sam Darnold. I am staying away from Aaron Rodgers, but I know why he took him. Keenan,
you're not saying like straight up, would you take Aaron Rodgers over Ryan Tannehill? No, right? You'd still take Rodgers over Tannehill, but based on what you had to pay for Tannehill, is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I know.
You're not taking Ryan Tannehill over Aaron Rodgers. Stop it. Get out of here right now. Come on now.
I mean,
I get the name, but like,
I mean, okay.
We talk about Adams. This is a conversation for another day.
Well, let me ask you a question. So, why? I'm not saying he's better now. We're talking about fantasy now, right? We're talking about fantasy.
Fantasy football.
Okay, and we both agree that YPA is a good measure.
Oh, you're gonna use the YP on me again, Al? Come on now. Use that literally on Sunday. Look, I get that's valuable, right? But when it's not like he's not going down the field and it's a low average actual what would be the stat line? Just average.
You're talking about like yards per attempt.
Thank you. Like a lower yards per attempt. To me, that matters.
Right. And you know what? I can't argue with you, but what I'm saying is the fact that we're even discussing it is an issue for his team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So tight end position, he waited like I did. Jared Cook, he went Dawson Knox and Vance McDonald. So obviously in a tight end premium league, that's a problem. But where he did with his very last pick in the 25th round, Jordan Reed. Now we all know Jordan Reed's upside. He doesn't have a team right now, but there is some talk that the Patriots might be interested in Jordan Reed. And if he could stay on the field, I mean, that's so if you can get 3 to 4 weeks of production out of Jordan Reed, that kind of saves your day. It saves your team. So this team looks like it's top heavy. As far as draft capital, Stephen the Lou, I will take a look real quick what he has. And
so while you're looking that up, I know that Jarvis Landry is potentially going to miss the first 2-3 weeks, maybe in the first month of the NFL season. But to get him in the late 7th round, I don't have a problem with that. I think that's right around good value.
Absolutely.
Adam Thielen in the 8th round, now with no Stephon Diggs, like he's going to be king fiddle in that offense.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when Stephen the Lou took Adam Thielen, was like, hey, he's still Adam Thielen, and that's absolutely right. Yep. Adam Thielen is probably going to be a top 15, top 16 receiver. Kirk Cousins has got the new contract. He is locked in on Adam Thielen, and I think
you know why I like this draft, Al? I like it because he's got the sizzles at top. He's got Zeke. He's got Tyreek Hill. Aaron Jones is going to regress, but look, if Aaron Jones is still the top running back in that offense, he has literally he should have like 90% market share of the touchdowns in that offense with Aaron Jones and Aaron Rodgers. So that's a good thing. Then like he didn't go for the sexy players late, but he went for productive players late. Guys like Adam Thielen, Jarvis Landry, Jared Cook.
If you look in the comments, Goff just said that that Stephen Lou traded him Thielen for Paris in a second. So that's an interesting trade. Who would you rather have there, Paris in a second or Thielen?
Oh man. See, this is what's tough. This is when your bias is getting in the way, right? Because I took Paris Campbell super early in one of my Dynasty leagues last year, and he hasn't quite panned out yet. So if you can get wide receiver 3, so like let's just like a starter, if we can get starter value out of Paris Campbell, I would probably take Campbell in the 2nd. Do you have any idea where that second is going to be? Is it an early 2nd, Mike, or is it later 2nd? Because that makes a big difference.
Right.
Because if it's an early 2nd, then you can probably get a pretty legitimate, like a Denzel Mims may fall, because since this is a super flex league, Denzel Mims could fall to the early 2nd round, and that would be amazing.
Yeah. No, it's an interesting experiment. It's like youth versus proven veteran. If I'm in win now mode, obviously Adam Thielen. If you are, looking for a little bit long term, Paris and the pick certainly is good. And you pointed out that super flex. I mean, the 2nd round is just going to be loaded, especially the early 2nd round. All right, best pick for Stephen the Lou. I'm going to still say Aaron Jones and Keenan Allen are both great picks, but the real value on his team is Adam Thielen. I hated the pick when he made it. I love it now. And then worst pick for me, I have already said it a few times. I won't belabor the point. Aaron Rodgers, even in Superflex, I was passing. I was glad when somebody else took him. For you, Shane, what's his best and worst pick?
I don't agree with you that Aaron Rodgers is a bad pick. I'm cool with that. Let's see here. I don't know. I really like the Tony Pollard pick just the fact that he has Zeke. I think that's fantastic.
How about Jordan Howard? Do you like Jordan Howard as a usable fantasy running back in Miami?
I mean, you got him in the 14th round, right? Like, why not? Yeah, why not go for it? So honestly, I don't have a pick that I hate. I'm just going to be honest. There's not a pick I really hate. I mean, obviously there's some risky plays, but that's at the end of his draft with Jacoby Myers and Adam Humphries. But
so what are you going to give his team, A through F, and will his team make the playoffs?
I think his team will make the playoffs because he's got Zeke and he's got Aaron Jones and he's got Tyreek Hill and he's got a solid floor with guys like Keenan Allen and Adam Thielen. I guess no, sorry, he doesn't have Adam Thielen, but I give it a B+. I think he's going to probably be right around that.
Nice job,
5, 6, 7 spot.
All right. So nice. Here we go. You know who's next up? Our guy, Mike Goff. So
hold on a sec. Cyrus just said he likes Tannehill over Rodgers as well.
Yeah, I'm there with you, man. I'm Cyrus. I'm there with you. I would take Tannehill over Rodgers in a dynasty league, especially at the price. But it is still Aaron Rodgers. Hard to bet against him. But hey, listen, Shane is not seeing it yet. He'll come back around. And
I think straight up, if it was, if we're just player for player, I'm taking Aaron Rodgers. Based on value, the fact you got about 3-4 rounds value, there's definitely a conversation.
Cool. All right, Mike Goff. Didn't trade any of his picks, went straight down the line. Until the end of the draft. So, but Saquon Barkley at 4, how the hell do you argue that? I probably would have taken him there as well. When you're picking 5 in these dynasty drafts, you're just like, you're on such tilt because those 2 QBs and those 2 running backs go. Zach Ertz, he's already talked about how probably should have taken Mandrews there. Comes back with Carson Wentz, Kenny Golladay, and then in round 5, is that a problem? Todd Gurley, you think? Was there any news about Todd Gurley today that he was cut?
Just the fact that he was freaking released, yeah.
And people are like, he's going to sign in Tampa. Too bad Tampa Bay can't even do a physical on him because there is no travel right now in Corona land. So
did you guys see Todd Gurley's Twitter account? He basically said, "Got fired on my day off."
Yeah.
Hilarious.
That's how it happens, right? That's how it happens. Yeah. Now but he did a good job all the way down. He's the one hogging all the running backs. Mike Goff is. He's got Saquon, Gurley, Lindsey, and Damian Williams. I am starved for running backs in this league, like every league. So it's going to be tough. But yeah, did a good job. Look at all that wide receiver depth, starting with Golladay, Cooper Kupp, T.Y. Hilton. Again, no superstar there, but you have like 3 high-end wide receiver 2s right in a row. That's a good way to start a league. Give me his best pick. Look down the row. Give me
my favorite is Cooper Kupp at 6.9.
Amazing. Worst pick? What do you think?
Worst pick. Let's see here if there's any picks that I hate. It's got to be Zach Ertz. I think I wouldn't take Zach Ertz in the second round at this point. Not with Dallas Goedert ascending. I mean, would you be shocked if Dallas Goedert either this year or next year ascended as a tight end 1? On that
Not
team?
Shocked. I expect it.
Exactly. I mean, so there's that. It's probably his worst pick. It's not a bad pick, but it's your worst pick. My favorite pick is definitely Cooper Kupp. I love that guy, as you know. I like Phillip Lindsay and Damian Williams. Boom, boom.
Yeah,
the fact you guys have 3 flex positions in this league is I love it.
Yeah, in a couple of dynasty leagues, I'm looking to get rid of Phillip Lindsay. I think that backfield is definitely going to get either veteran, maybe Melvin Gordon, or they're going to draft somebody. I don't think they trust their backs there. I love Phillip Lindsay. He's one of my favorite players in the whole league, but I don't know. I think that they're going to add a 3rd there. It's just a feeling I have. Obviously, the worst pick for Mike Goff is Todd Gurley for obvious reasons. Sorry to pick on your brother. And then best pick, I think you identified Kupp is a really good pick. And for this year, it's hard not to like Damian Williams in the 9th round. I mean, when he gets the ball, he does good things. If Andy Dalton ends up being the Patriots starting quarterback or, something like that, I mean, you're going to be loving him in the 15th round. But right now, a lot of these QBs, and one of them, the veteran QBs, are going to be looking for a chair. Is Mike make the playoffs this year with Saquon at the helm?
I would be surprised if he did not make the playoffs.
All right. Remember, there's only 6 teams can make it. Saquon's health, but I'm going to predict that this team
league, man. I like it. Sorry to interrupt. This is a very competitive league, and it's exciting. I like it.
I know that. I try to get you to be in this league, Shane. Yeah. This one, if a spot opens up, Shane will take your team. He is known for his rebuilding skills. He is known for taking shit teams and making them good, or sometimes taking good teams and making them shit.
There you go.
I'm only kidding, Shane. All right. We'll go to Canadian bacon. So wait, Shane is in Canada. Shane, what part of Canada are you in again?
I'm in Calgary, Alberta.
All right. Why don't you break down this team first?
All right. So right up off the top, he sold his first pick. So it looks like he got
an extra second and an extra third.
See, I like that. If I'm early in the first round, I'm definitely keen on selling that pick I think he probably could have gotten more, to be honest. But second and a third, that's not bad. Josh Jacobs.
He may have even gotten this additional 12th. I mean, I don't know if that was part of that.
Yeah, it's hard to really parse out exactly what happened. But actually, it kind of looks like he maybe. I'm not sure. But anyway, so Mark Andrews we love. We talked about he's probably one of our top tight ends. Juju look, at the start of the third round, if we talked about this a year ago, he was probably going late first, early second round.
I saw him go like 1.7 last year.
Yeah, so I mean, Juju, his value has fallen. The fact that you can get him at 3.2, Ben Roethlisberger he's back. Ben's never going to finish a full 16-game season or / 17-game season, not this year, but Juju still has shown, like, that's the thing with a lot of these players, right? There's always could they? Juju's ascended. He's been there. He's reached the top of the mountain, right?
Yeah,
and that matters to me in fantasy football.
But is the genie out of the bottle with the other receivers? James Washington and Deontay Johnson have already proven that they're not just like some second. Like, these are players. So is Juju? I mean, I would be really concerned. I think the third round is the right spot for Juju, but it's not even like, oh my God, what a value. Fourth round would be a value. But here's basically what Bacon did. He traded Lamar Jackson for Mark Andrews and Juju Smith-Schuster. Which side of that in a super flex would you rather be on? Would you rather have Juju and Mark Andrews or Lamar Jackson?
Oh God, that's tough.
While you're answering that, I'm just going to put my light on. It's starting to get dark in here. Hang on.
To be honest, I think it's a fair trade. The reason that I find that it's tough is because I wouldn't have taken Lamar Jackson in that position.
I would have taken there Barkley.
I would have probably taken, probably Barkley in that spot, or I would have tried to trade out of it. Exactly what he did. So it's close. I probably, if we're talking just the values, I'd probably lean Lamar just because he's so young. He's just so electric. I mean, he can put up 45 points in a game.
Yeah.
The fact that it's 2 points though for tight ends, that makes a big difference. It's interesting that he basically got the Lamar's tight end though. So I mean, he's still going to get a piece of that offense. It's close. Look, if Juju can show glimpses of his 2018 season, then I think that he won the trade. But the fact that there's that risk, as of today, I maybe would lean Lamar. But it's a fair trade. It's tough. Josh Jacobs, we love. I think you're pretty high on him too, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have him as my 5th overall running back. I wouldn't even mind taking him ahead of Zeke, but I don't want to have an either or about it. Like, because Zeke is probably the better prospect, but just because of the age, age is where I would have the debate.
Okay, so then Baker Mayfield, where are you on Baker Mayfield? Like, I think I'm higher than consensus on Baker, but the fact that he took Baker before Carson Wentz, before Dak Prescott, I don't get before Josh Allen. I don't get that part.
That's a little rich for me too. But I mean, I can't definitively say it's not going to work out because it was one great year, one down year, but that whole offense was in with Freddie. Right. You had Freddie Bathrooms leading the charge over there, and it didn't work out. Now, this is the year we're going to find out. Now it's taking a risk for sure, but I have no problem with it. Yeah, I would have taken those other guys you just named first. I'm with you, but sure, why not?
Okay, look. So if you go online, you look at rankings, like just QB rankings straight up. A lot of people have Baker's like QB 10 to 15. I think he's better than that. I really do think he's better than that. I don't think I would have drafted him where you took him.
Well, see, he's on right now. He's saying, I definitely need Juju to show. Cyrus, Canadian Bacon. Listen, we're about to cook you, Bacon, right here, because we are not on board with that trade. But you did take Mandrews, so we are going to cut you a break. One of our favorite players, we identified him last year that he should have been the tight end 5 when he was going routinely outside the top 8 or 9 tight ends. So kudos to you there. I like selling the pick. We could end up eating crow on that. Yeah. Overall, I like his team. You know how much I like DJ Shark. People are going to be down on him this year. I don't understand why. Even if they draft like a Jalen Reagor in the 2nd round, something like that, or T. Higgins, I'm still going to.
Man, that's good. You want the competition. You want it.
Yes, and I love what he did at tight end with Hunter Henry, Mark Andrews, and TJ Hawkinson. That was a really smart strategy because in this league, you could start 3 tight ends, I believe. You start the tight end, and there's the 2 flex positions, or there might even be more flex positions than that. So he's going to be getting double PPR points.
You can start 4 tight ends.
Yeah, so, I mean, smart strategy. I think I misread how to do this league. I probably rushed it a little bit. Again, I'm only comparing it to my baseline because I'm a little jealous. I'm going to give this team, it's got high upside. I think that I wouldn't be doing a service unless I graded it where I felt, which is like a C+/B-. And that's not that it's a bad team. It's just relative to the league. But I think this could be one of the teams that surprises and does really well. I like some of the players. So I'm going to go B-. Shane, what do you think?
Go B, a clean B. And here's why. I think DJ Chark is a clear, definitely number 2 wide receiver. Juju could be a number one wide receiver. So it's like, honestly, just the fact that you traded that first round pick for Juju, essentially, right, is really going to make or break this team. But I love Darius Slayton at 8.10, and my boy, I think a lot of people's boys, who, frankly, we just please be healthy. Thank you. Please be healthy, Darius. Guys, 9.3. Man, if Geis hits and Juju hits, there's a lot of ifs here, but man, watch out.
All right.
You can go from a freaking C- to an A+. That's all I'm saying.
All right. For me, yeah, I mean, and we've said it all there. All right. How do you say Stekik? How do you say his name? It's Stekik? Stekik 14. All right. So Stekik 14 did something very interesting here. He takes Christian McCaffrey with the second overall pick and then trades up his second and third to grab Lamar Jackson. It's hard to argue with that move either. And then doesn't have a second or third round pick and gets Julio in the fourth round, followed up by Devin Singletary, Michael Gallup. This guy knows how to draft. Again, very sharp. Everyone probably hated the Tom Brady pick in the 10th round. Ends up being good. I love Tom Brady. He's a top 12 QB this year. I think he'll be around QB 15 or 18 on most people's boards, but he'll be surely inside my top 12 for fantasy this year. My favorite pick that he has here, I'm just looking deep, but it's Steve Sims Jr. When I made I picked right in front of him, and I took Golden Tate. Regretted it right away the minute that Stekik hit Steve Sims Jr. I thought he would come back to me one more time. I forgot what kind of a room I was in, so that is like literally my favorite pick. I think that guy is a player based on everything I saw last year. I think he'll be a starter for your team. And obviously, worst pick of the draft. I don't like Kareem Hunt. I know you. I'm sorry, Christian Kirk. I was looking him. I know everyone likes him. You were, and I'm on an island on this one. I just do not think he's going to be viable for fantasy. I know he had a couple breakout games, and I could be totally wrong. But adding DeAndre Hopkins to there now, there's just less to go around. I am out on Christian Kirk. I don't care if it was in the 8th round, but I mean, if that's your worst pick, Christian Kirk in the 8th round, did a good job. Overall, I'm going to give this team. I mean, it's hard. It's got such a high upside. I'm going to give him a rock solid B.
The top 2 players in fantasy right now.
Yeah, I mean, he should. As long as those players stay healthy, this is the most dangerous team because it has the highest upside.
Yeah, it's got a lot of upside. Deontay Johnson at 11.2 is probably my favorite pick.
That's a good one.
Will Dissly. I know that Seattle's right now accumulating tight ends, but say Will Dissly misses the first half of the season, you might not get much production out of him this year, but next year, who knows, right? He showed that he can do it.
By the way, this is the team that offered me Drew Sample in the second for Hayden Hurst, and I thought about it. Ultimately, I declined, but I see why. He's a little shallow on tight end. Drew Sample, I'm not that high on, but yeah, no, he can make a trade. But yeah, I mean, by getting Lamar, he really sacrificed his tight end because that's what he gave up was Andrews and Juju. So this team, we agree, highest upside of any team because of those 2 players. But this could go either way, right?
Well, there's been some talk that Melvin Gordon maybe actually one of the teams interested is Buffalo. If that happens, it'll eviscerate Devin Singletary's value.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to go to Buffalo, but yes, that is absolutely true. All right, the last team, we saved the worst for last or the best for last?
Let's go with it. I mean, so when you sent me this, and the first team I looked at naturally was your team, and I really like your team.
Good. All right.
We talked about this. I can't remember if we talked before or after you made your pick for Patrick Mahomes. I personally wouldn't have done that. I would have done CMC just because I know I probably would have gone back and gotten some QBs later. That's just the way that I like to play even in Superflex because that's just I've had more success that way. But how could you argue Patrick Mahomes in a Superflex league at 1.1? Some people say Lamar is going to be 1. Patrick Mahomes is going to be 1. He could be number 1 easily. DJ Moore, you know that I love. I just basically paid a fortune for him in our other Dynasty League together. So
worth it. It was always, whatever it was too cheap. DJ Moore, he's got to be a top 5 or 6 wide receiver in fantasy of PPR. And now that they added Teddy Bridgewater, this sets up perfectly for him, man.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I mean, look, and that, a little aside, sometimes you have to overpay in fantasy to get your guys. But if you really truly believe that they've got that opportunity, then to get DJ Moore, say in a year, if he actually ascends to a top 3 wide receiver, would be almost impossible. So I'm pretty happy with that. Miles Sanders, we talked about. I love like fuck, like Terry McLaurin,
So
Deebo Samuel. I'm just gushing over your team. But the problem is, Al, we podcast so often together. We like a lot of the same players.
Right, but I'm okay. So if I were to critique my own team, I would say I'm a little skinny on running back. So I have Miles Sanders and Kenyon Drake. That's fine. But after that, I literally, and we know how running backs drop like flies. I literally don't have any depth at all. Like my next running back, I would be looking at like Duke Johnson and Alexander Madison. I need to either make a trade or hope for an injury. And one of my high upside backups, Jalen Samuels, but I'm going to be in a world of trouble should I get a running back injury. Now you only need to start 2, and I am a little bit deeper at wide receiver, getting the young guys, Terry McLaurin and Deebo, which I know you love, and of course Mike Williams, Brashard Perryman still have a lot of upside. Golden Tate, rock solid, is some veteran depth. So I'll be all right at receiver. Obviously, Mahomes, Tannehill, I told you how I feel about him. And I'm honestly, I think I have one of the worst teams in the league, but I still think I have a good team. So I'm going to need to fight and claw for every win. But if I do, I could sneak in as a 6 seed, maybe go on a little run. But other than that, man, I might have to sell off some parts to rebuild pretty quickly in this league.
Mike just said he'll trade you an RB. So Cyrus said that it's a 6-point passing touchdown. Look, so we've talked about it before, right? If it's a 6-point versus a 4-point, it kind of like the tide rises all boats. So all quarterbacks are going to be improved. However, a guy like Mahomes that's put up 50 touchdowns, throwing touchdowns, that can make a difference, and that could elevate him over a guy like Lamar.
And also, 6-point passing touchdowns favors the pocket. It lowers the value of the running QBs, because when you have 4 points for passing touchdown and 6 for running, obviously that getting 5 or 6 touchdowns from your running QB is enormous. I mean, that is like adding another 3 or 4. Oh, sorry, it's like adding let's see, if you get like 10, so it's like getting another couple touchdowns just out of that. So the 6 passing touchdowns good for the pocket passer, but someone like Mahomes, he does it both. He'll run a little, he'll throw a little. So absolutely. I mean, overall, like you said, though, it everybody's getting it, so it doesn't really affect it too much for me. Shane, give me best pick, worst pick, and give me my grade, and we will get out of here.
Okay, I'm just going to go real quick here. So you've got 2 guys like Miles Sanders and Kenyon Drake that have RB1 potential weeks, so that's huge. You've got one of the best quarterbacks in the league, top 2. You've got one of the top, in my opinion, top 3 to 5 wide receivers in the league with DJ Moore. That's fantastic. You're weak at your running back depth, which if you start getting some injury struggles with guys like Kenyon Drake and Miles Sanders have been injured already, that could be a risk. And then your depth at tight end is a little bit sketchy.
Let me ask you this. See, with my tight ends, it's not that I'm not deep. It's that I don't have star power at the top. Now, OJ Howard's value took a little bit of a rise. Tom Brady, we know, likes to hit the tight end. And when he came in there was a lot of talk about how Tom Brady would have control over the offense. It just wouldn't be Bruce Arians' offense. Now, we know in the past, OJ Howard, last year didn't do well in Arians' offense, but with Tom Brady coming there, I think that could be different. Jack Doyle, I think, is going to be serviceable. I'm not going to win my league with him, and then there's some upside with Hayden Hurst. So I don't think I have star power there, but I think I can survive at tight end.
Okay, no, absolutely. So best pick of your draft. I mean, maybe not the best pick, but one of my favorite picks, Hayden Hurst in the 18th round. I think that's fantastic. I think even OJ Howard in the 8th round is good value. Ryan Tannehill at the start of the 7th round is fantastic. Picks I don't love. I mean, it's nitpicking, but again, I personally would not have gone with Patrick Mahomes at the 1.1.
Fair enough.
I think that when you talk about CMC and just how he literally can win you weeks every single week, whereas a guy like Patrick Mahomes, you've seen it. Other quarterbacks can put up big numbers too. And it's just more consistent and more likely that other quarterbacks are going to put up those big numbers. So I would have gone CMC.
I thought about it. Trust me, I thought about it. It was a struggle for me, and ultimately, I probably agree with you. I didn't do it, but you know what I'm hoping is that because I have the 12th and 13th pick, we're doing a snake for the inaugural year of the rookie draft. So I have 12 and 13. I'm hoping that I could package those and turn that, or just take 2 running backs that fall there out of the first tier. So maybe that is an option for me as well.
Guys that'll probably be there, guys like Keyshawn Vaughn, AJ Dillon,
Zach Moss,
maybe Zach Moss, maybe Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
No, there's no way.
He's too popular. I don't know, man. I was kind of running some simulations with just a non-superflex league, right? So like and I personally didn't have Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the first round.
Yeah, no, he's going to be in the first round. I mean, Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a coveted running back because of the pass catching skills. I mean, landing spot dependent. Now, if Clyde Edwards-Helaire goes to a bad situation, let's say he's the third back in the Denver situation we just talked about, then sure, maybe he'll be there. But I mean, if he ends up in one, I mean, you know what? There's like you and I have talked about. There's like 5 guys that could end up being in that number 1 slot. So we'll see. Absolutely. All right, guys. So give me a grade, Shane. A through F. I'm
going to give you a B+, but I'm biased. So
yes, that's true. You're a fan. All right, guys. Shane, this was the thank you for reviewing the startup draft with me. Hope that you guys thought this is the Boardwalk Empire. Again, a cool little twist to the league is that if you win it twice, the draft resets. So
I love that. That's so cool.
And if anybody drops out, Shane's ready to take your team.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening. For Flex Matt, for Season Long Says, for myself, we are the Flex Network.